Hello, hello, how are you? I am back again, and today I thought I'd do a quick video about my wedding day perfume because I feel like I talked a lot before I got married about what perfume I was going to wear on my wedding day, and it was a really big decision in the lead up to the day. And then on the day, I actually just went wild and just disregarded everything that I had thought, and I just kind of picked, and it wasn't necessarily what I thought I would pick. So yeah, I'm going to talk you through it. My criteria for wedding day perfumes was something that was not limited edition because I wanted to be able to buy it for years to come. I also didn't want it to be so ludicrously expensive that I couldn't afford to buy it again. And I wanted it to feel very special, very joyful. And I also wanted it to be quite strong because I was worried I'd be very anxious and I would be quite stinky. And I really wanted to have a protection of beautiful perfume in case I just felt a bit sticky and sweaty. So I had been exploring a lot of different perfumes and I wanted something that I didn't wear necessarily day in, day out, but not necessarily something new. And then on the day, I just went absolutely wild. So today I thought I'd talk about it. So before I tell you what I wore, I'm actually going to tell you what my sister wore and what my mum wore, because that did massively impact what I ended up wearing. So my sister and my mum both have fantastic taste in perfumes, and we actually all have very similar favourite perfumes. So my mum on the day announced that she was going to wear Sandalwood Temple by Sana Jardin, which she absolutely loves, I absolutely love, and it had actually been kind of a top 3 contender of what I was going to wear on the day. So I love this perfume, and every day and every time I was with my mum, I could smell this perfume and it was beautiful, and I love it and she loves it, and it's a gorgeous perfume. So I feel like even though I didn't wear this perfume, it was still instrumental on the day because my mum was obviously wearing it, and it's stunning. Like, it's one of my top 5 perfumes ever. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you don't know it, please look it up. It's I can't describe it because it's too good, but Sandalwood Temple by Sana Jardin, it was a very high contender. And then my mum just mentioned she was going to wear it, and I didn't want to tell her no. So she wore it, and it was actually really nice because I could smell it all day long. And then funnily enough, a similar thing actually happened with my sister. She came into my room and she said, "I didn't bring any perfume. Can I borrow some?" And I was like, "Take your pick. I have a lot of perfume, as we all know." So she had a little look on my shelf and she goes, "Oh, can I wear this one? I wear this one a lot at home and I forgot to bring my bottle. I love it." And she went for Jo Malone Red Roses, which again, you probably know, is one of my favourite ever Jo Malone perfumes. And it had, again, been a serious contender of what I was going to wear. So I was like, "Of course you can. I love that perfume." And she was like, "Are you going to wear that?" And I was like, No, you wear it. And so yeah, she actually ended up wearing Jo Malone's Red Roses, which again, every time I was with her, I could smell Jo Malone Red Roses, which was really lovely because it's a favourite perfume of mine. So again, I felt like Sana Jardin and Jo Malone Red Roses was like kind of omnipresent of the day. So that was really lovely because obviously like my mum and my sister wearing 2 of my favourite perfumes. But of course, because they were wearing them, I didn't want to wear them. So let me tell you what I wore. So on the morning of the wedding, me, my sister and my mum all went down to the local hairdressers and we all got our hair done, which seemed like a great idea. But it was kind of raining. So by lunchtime, all of our hair went from being beautifully done to being a little bit fadey. You know, it just wasn't as good. We hairsprayed, we restyled, it was fine. But the elements were against us that day. And I have to be honest, my hair, it got a bit mucky, it got a bit messy, got a bit frizzy. I tried, but what can you do? Anyway, that morning we all went to the hairdressers and made our hair look good for about half an hour, and then it looked rubbish. And as I was just getting dressed and throwing something on so that I could get my hair done and then come home and get changed. So I was just about to leave for the hairdressers and I just grabbed a perfume and sprayed it. And then I was like, "Oh my God, is this my wedding day perfume?" I really hadn't considered this very hard. And luckily it was a perfume that I had been considering wearing, but it wasn't necessarily my final choice because I hadn't made my final choice. Anyway, lucky for me, it's a perfume I love, and it was definitely a contender. And that perfume is Stories number 2. Let's get it in focus. Here we go. This is it. Stories number 2. It's absolutely stunning. It was a tough contender, and it was always like gonna possibly be the one, but I hadn't made that final decision. So anyway, I went to the hairdressers, wore this perfume. I smelled great. And then I got home, my hair looked bad within half an hour. And then I put on my dress and I put on a little bit more of my perfume. Again, Stories number 2. And then I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna lift this perfume a little, I'm gonna lift it and make it a little bit more bridally. So alongside wearing Stories number 2, which by the way, I should probably tell you the fragrance notes, hang on. Okay, so the scent notes of fragrance number 2 are cardamom, ginger, Bulgarian rose, green tea. Then it's tonka bean, cedarwood, patchouli, amber musk, honey tobacco, sandalwood, and vanilla. So it's a stunning perfume, and it does already have rose notes in it. But I decided to add a little bit more rose into it because, I don't know, it just felt like my wedding day and I kind of wanted to wear 2 perfumes. So alongside Stories number 2, I also wore Acqua di Parma's Rosa Noble, which again had always been a really strong contender. I love this perfume. I think it's very like regal and bridal and gorgeous. And it had always been kind of like in the back of my mind, I think I'm going to wear Acqua di Parma. So I ended up wearing both perfumes. I think I smelled incredible. So I kind of had this like, I don't know, smoky, vanilla-y, like spicy, very classic kind of like woodsy kind of thing going on. Like very, very kind of like elegant but dark and edgy. And then I also had that kind of brightness of the rose and the magnolia and the little bit of peony, just to kind of lift it and make it a little bit more bridal. And also I feel like Stories has like a really like strong lingering base note. So I really felt like it was gonna last all day. So you had the freshness of the rose at the top of the Acqua di Parma, and then you had that lingering trail of kind of like the more edgy, smoky, dark, woodsy, spicy Stories. So in the end, that's what I wore. I wore Stories number 2 and Acqua di Parma Rosa Noble. And I have no regrets. I felt great all day. As for my boyfriend, he wore a Roger fragrance, which I think is Qatar, but I tried to get the bottle, but he's gone away at the moment. So I think he's taken that bottle with him because he's been wearing it a lot recently to kind of, think about the wedding day. And that's one of his favorite ever fragrances. And then my sister, who I was with obviously a lot of the day, wore Jo Malone's Red Roses, which I love. And it was really nice to smell it all day. And then my mum wore Sana Jardin Sandalwood Temple, which again is one of my all-time favorite perfumes. So I really feel like even though I wore 2 perfumes, not 1, I was also surrounded by really good smelling fragrances. So it was good. And I would recommend, if you're getting married and you like have a sister or a mum or a bridesmaid whose fragrances that you really love, like it is a little bit bridezilla, so bear with me, but like have a chat to them about what perfumes they're gonna wear, because it's nice to kind of like smell them and smell your wedding, not just smell yourself and smell your wedding. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I probably sound absolutely bonkers, but I just thought I'd share my wedding day perfumes. So again, Red Roses by Jo Malone, one of my all-time favourites. And again, was a perfume I was considering. Sana Jardin Sandalwood Temple, which again was another perfume I was considering. And then I ended up wearing basically both of these perfumes. Stories number 2, which is kind of like quite a strong, woodsy, smoky, spicy fragrance, which really lingered in the base notes. And then Acqua di Parma's Rosa Noble, which gave it that really fresh top of like roses and blackcurrant and peony and just delightful florals. So that's my wedding day perfumes. I hope it was of help and interest. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I don't sound like I'm absolutely bonkers with all of this fragrance chat. Like, it really was a big decision for me. I don't know why it was such a big thing. And I'm really happy that my sister and my mum wore the perfumes that they wore. Even though they were perfumes I was considering wearing myself, I'm really glad that they wore them, and I'm really glad I wore what I wore. So it was perfect. Anyway, that's my video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.